What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Devin. I hope that you will consider sticking around and subscribing. And if you're not new, as always, welcome back. You know I love you. So for today's video, we are going to be doing a full face testing out drugstore products that I bought at Walmart. I recently was just having the itch to try out some new drugstore products, so I ended up picking a whole bunch of things to try out from Walmart, and I actually got enough to do two almost full face of first impressions of makeup from Walmart. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. We are going to be creating this look right here using all of the products that I got from Walmart for the 500th time. This is a video about makeup from Walmart. Did I say that? All this stuff is from Walmart. So I will say some of these are new products to market. Some of them aren't, but they are all new to me. They are all products that I have not tried before. So if all of that sounds interesting to you, as always, don't forget to grab a drink. This had iced coffee in it when I started. It really doesn't anymore. It's got like a couple sips left because I drank it all. But don't forget to grab yourself a drink and let's get right into the video. All right, let's get started. So I already did my brows off camera. One, because I don't have a brow product to test out today. So I just used my favorite NYX micro brow pencil. This is in the shade Brunette. And then I went ahead and cleaned them up, and I already primed my eyes as well. So the first drugstore Walmart product that we are going to be testing out today is this Starlit palette from Profusion. I've never tried Profusion before, but I've heard from several of my favorite YouTubers that this is a good brand, that their eyeshadows are pretty good, especially for the price. So this, I believe, was like $12 or $13 at Walmart, and it looks nice. So it's a bigger palette. Obviously, you open it up, it does have one of these annoying plastic things, but it actually is glued in. So I don't mind that because I can kind of, I don't know, I feel like it won't flop around as much as one that's just kind of loose in there. At first glance, I was like, this palette looks familiar to me. It reminds me of a Morphe palette. I think Morphe has a palette with a similar color scheme. So whatever, I mean, that doesn't bother me. That's neither here nor there for me, but just something that I noticed. And then right off the bat, the other thing that I noticed is that there are quite a few pressed glitters in here. It looks like there's 7. Again, doesn't really bother me, but just for reference. So I want to do something pretty glam today, but I do have a bright lip that I want to test out today. So I do still want to keep the eyes pretty neutral, but I still want to have a little fun, you know? Do I even want to keep this in here? You know what? I'm just going to rip that off because I just changed my mind. I don't want that. It's gonna get on my nerves. So first, I'm just gonna set my eyeshadow primer down as usual. So I'm gonna take this color right up here in the corner. It looks like it's gonna be a perfect shade for me to be able to do that. So let me just make sure we're nice and smooth here. And we're gonna set down the eye primer. Also, say hello to the baby back there. I don't know if you can see her, but she was a little sneezy today. Her allergies, the pollen here in Tampa is getting pretty bad as we're moving into like the spring season. And she was very sneezy this morning. So she got a Benadryl today and she is knocked out. All right, next I'm gonna start off in the crease with the shade right here. These do all have shade names, but they're all on that plastic sheet and I just really can't be bothered, so I'm just gonna point. So we're just gonna lightly start working into the crease with this one. See how we do. That looks nice so far, easy to blend. It's not like, I'm not like, oh my gosh, holy pigment, but also like it's a light color. But yeah, it looks nice. Easily buildable, easily blended. I like it. All right, and then moving down to this shade right here, I'm getting this on a trusty Morphe M433. And I'm gonna work this shade out here in the outer third and then also up into the crease as well. So I'm just trying to build some depth here in the outer corner and then into the crease. Okay, so I am kind of working back and forth between the first color and the second color. So getting that first shade and just making sure we're blending those two colors together. I don't want to take the dark one up too far in the crease. I want to keep it concentrated right here. So that's why I'm taking my other brush and a little bit of that other color and just blending them together as I see fit. But really, I mean, these do look nice. Again, not the most pigmented in the world, but easy to work with, easy to build, and easy to blend. So yeah, looking good so far. So next we're gonna move on to the lid. So I'm thinking either this shade here or this one. This one looks like it's got a little bit more of a gold tone, and then this one looks a little bit more like champagne-y neutral. So I think I'm actually gonna go for this one. So I'm just gonna pick up this shade right here on my finger. I always like to do a finger test first to see how they go on just applied dry with my finger. Oh, over here. And as I'm sure you guys have noticed, I'm sticking on this one eye because I am gonna try to film a reel with this look on the other one. So I'm just getting a generous amount of that on my finger and I'm packing it on. This looks nice. Again, it's not like pow. You know, it's not like pow, shimmer, pigment, but it's enough on its own to stand on its own. Like I'm not rushing to wet my brush. This is not my brush. I'm not rushing to like get a brush and wet it and use it that way. Yeah, this looks nice. This looks really nice. All right, and I do want to test out some of the pressed glitters just for fun. Just one pressed glitter, actually. Ooh, that's a lot. Feels nice and soft. It doesn't feel like it's too chunky or anything. This might be too much. I'm just gonna dab a little bit of that off on my hand. And I'm just gonna go right over top of where we just laid down that shimmer. Yeah, that's pretty. That just gives it a little something, you know? Real quick, I think I am actually just gonna take a flat brush and just kind of pat that glitter around, make sure it's evenly distributed. That's kind of hard to do with your finger. You can cover a large surface area with your finger, but I think that it's easier to use a brush to kind of spread things out. And you don't have to be super neat with it. We're not like doing a cut crease or anything like that, but I really do love what the glitter adds to it. All right, so now that we've done the lid, I'm gonna go back into this shade right here on the same brush, that Morphe M443. And I'm just gonna make sure that I have the depth that we want here on the outer corner. I'm gonna kind of blend along this edge here. And actually, I think I wanna take a small little flat brush and I'm gonna go into this shimmer right here. And I'm actually gonna use this shade to blend along this line as well because it's a similar tone to the matte shade that we have in the outer corner, but the shimmer will help us blend this lid shade into the outer corner with less of a harsh line. I don't really want a harsh line there. I want everything to kind of fade. All right, and I'm pretty happy with how this looks right now, but I feel like I do just want a little tiny bit more depth out here in the outer corner of the eye. So I'm gonna take a small angled brush. I'm gonna go into the black because there's not really like, there's these colors here, but they're more mauve, they're not brown. So I think these would kind of look, these browns would look a little muddy in the outer corner with the color scheme that we have going on right now. So anyway, I'm gonna go into this black and hopefully not regret it. But I'm just gonna wiggle it in just a little bit here along the lower lash line in the outer corner. So I'm gonna stick really close right here. And then I'm gonna kind of like slightly dab it right above the line here in the corner. And I just want a slight little smoky effect here in the outer corner. Again, nothing crazy, nothing too dramatic, but I think this is just gonna add a little bit of glam to the look and a little bit more definition. I hope that makes sense. So I'm just kind of like slowly blending and slowly flicking it out here. So then I'm gonna take a little blending brush and just kind of continue that process here. Again, like I really want it to be faded and smoked out. I don't want it to be like a defined line or like a big wing or anything like that. I just want a little extra because then when we clean up with a makeup wipe, I'm gonna do like a nice sharp line here. And then once I've got that black placed where I want it, I'm just going back in one more time with this M433 and blending. So you could also do that with a dark brown, like if you're following along and using a different palette. That's probably what I would have preferred to do if there was a darker brown in this palette that I wanted to use with this look, but the black doesn't look bad either. All right, so we're done with the eyeshadow look. So like I said, we're gonna go ahead and just snatch that edge with a makeup wipe really quick. So actually first I'm gonna clean up some of this glitter from underneath my eye. And then I'm just gonna gather the makeup wipe like right around my nail, and I'm gonna use my nail to get a nice sharp edge here. All right, you guys, I'm gonna pop off camera. I'm gonna film a reel with my other eye, and then I'll come back. So I am back with the other eye completed, and funny story, while I was filming that reel, I dropped the palette and broke it. You know, not the best quality packaging, but we'll deal. So we're pretty much done with this anyway. All right, next up we have a drugstore primer to try. So this is the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Hydrating Primer 12-Hour Makeup Grip Face Primer. Again, this is not like a brand new product, but it's something that I've really been excited to try because I've heard people say that it is a dupe for the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, and I really, really like primers like that. I like a hydrating primer. I like a primer that's a little bit sticky and grippy. I don't like a silicone Benefit Professional. I don't like that type of primer. I like something to be nice and juicy on my skin. So I've heard that this is a dupe. It definitely looks like it's the same color. Feels like it's a similar consistency. So we are just gonna slather this on and see what we think. Okay, yeah, first impression, I love the feel of that. It feels very hydrating. It feels like it's got a little bit of a like stick to it, a little bit of a grip, but not too much. I would say, like, if you've ever used the e.l.f. Watermelon Dew Primer, which is one of my favorites, that's definitely a lot stickier, but my face does feel nice and hydrated. Like, it's giving me the type of feeling that I like with my primers so far. So far, so good. So next up for foundation, I have this right here. So this is the CoverGirl Outlast Extreme Wear 3-in-1 Foundation. It says it's a 24-hour full coverage foundation, and it's got SPF 18. I only got one. I did self-tan, so I feel like this is going to be a little light for me, but we'll at least try it out and see how the coverage is and everything and how it feels. And then if I need to grab another foundation to darken it up, I will. And if I like it, then I will buy a darker shade so I can mix. Just getting it on a sponge. Okay, so that is really, really, really nice coverage. It's not quite as light as I thought it would be. It definitely still doesn't match my chest. I do need to bronze this up a little bit, but as you can see, that was 2 pumps. It pretty much covered 1/2 of my face. It spread out, it blended out really easily. I can tell that it's a full coverage foundation, but it doesn't feel heavy on my skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other half of my face, and then we'll see what we're looking like. All right, you guys, this like first impressions is really, really nice. I really like the coverage. I would say I needed about 3 1/4, like 3 1/2 pumps to cover my entire face and then build it up in the places that I want to build it up. But I really like it so far. As far as the shade goes, I would say this, what is this? 817 Golden Natural. I would say this for me is more of like a my tan is fading type of shade. This would be like a mid shade for me. Too dark for my natural skin tone, but not quite dark enough for when I have a self tan like this, or eventually when I have a real tan. So I'll need to darken it up a little bit with a different foundation just for today, but that's fine. I mean, in terms of the quality of the foundation, I like it so far. All right, so off camera, I did go ahead and just deepen this up a smidge with just a very light coat of my L'Oreal Pro Glow foundation. This is the shade 208 Sun Beige. When I really have a tan, this is a good shade for me. So next up, I have another CoverGirl product. And to be honest with you, I think this one is going to be a little too light for me right now too, but we'll still test it out. So this is the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. This is in the shade Natural Ivory. I think when I was shopping, I didn't have a tan or anything, so I was kind of going based off of that, and then I did do a self tan, and now I'm throwing myself off. I'm gonna go ahead and just apply this under my eyes, knowing that it's a little too light, and then I probably will have to deepen it up, but for now, we'll just test it out and see how we do with it. Just gonna blend this out. Okay, so actually this color doesn't look too bad. It is a little bright. I don't mind, honestly, the super bright under eye, like right here, but I think the rest of my face, it's a little too bright. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a little bit of my e.l.f. Camo Concealer. This is in the shade Medium Sand, and this is a pretty good shade for me, like to spot conceal and stuff when I have a tan. So I'm just gonna kind of go over these sections where I don't want as much brightness and blend out over top. But as far as the consistency goes, that CoverGirl concealer is beautiful. I mean, it's nice and thick and full coverage. It's got the consistency of what I would normally like in a concealer, similar to this e.l.f. Camo Concealer or like my Juvia's Place that I love. I like it. It really is nice. It's got like a nice creamy consistency. It was easy to blend out. Like I said, full coverage. Doesn't feel super heavy. Doesn't look like it's terribly creasy under my eyes here. All right, for a setting powder today, I have another Hard Candy product. So this is the Hard Candy Chilling Wonder Powder. So I'm always intrigued by powders that say they're hydrating, because typically, like, I feel like traditionally that's a little counterintuitive for a powder. I found this intriguing. It kind of matched this guy, and I just want to try more from Hard Candy in general. So anyway, I'm just gonna tap a little bit of this into the cap. At first glance, it looks like it's nice and finely milled. And it looks like it's got a slight pink tinge to the powder. It doesn't look like it's fully white or fully translucent, which also I don't mind. So anyway, I'm just gonna get a little bit of that on my sponge. I'm gonna press it in under my eyes here. Yeah, it really is very finely milled. It feels like it's like pressing right into my skin without even too much residue. Do you see that? How it's just kind of absorbing right in? Oh, I kind of like this. Okay, did I just find a hidden gem? I am so excited about this powder right now. Can you see? So I am going to take a brush. I'm not going to put any extra powder on it and dust away a little bit of the excess in my under eyes. But other than underneath here where I put a little bit of extra powder, that's just like normally where I put the most powder. Look at my face. I mean, the setting powder, usually when I'm doing this and I'm taking my damp sponge and pressing things in, it does kind of leave a white cast. It kind of leaves a little bit of a residue, and I do have to like go back in with a brush and dust things away and press things in. But just pressing this powder into my skin and into the foundation with this sponge really did the trick, and it didn't leave like a white cast or, you know, a layer of powder just sitting on top of my skin. I am so impressed right now. Obviously, I think that the real test will be how well it actually sets in my makeup, how well like my makeup is actually locked in and everything right now. But guys, this is so nice. It doesn't look super powdery or cakey or heavy on my skin. I'm just amazed at how well it absorbed right into the foundation, like right into the makeup. I don't know, you guys. I might have just found a hidden gem. All right, for a bronzer today, I have this Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer. This is in the shade Sunset Striptease. So again, not terribly new to the market, but new to me. And I do feel like these were pretty popular when they were released. I'm gonna go ahead and just tap my brush in like I normally would. And we're gonna start up here on my forehead and start bronzing things up. Okay, actually, this is looking pretty light on my skin right now. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I just think that this might be a better bronzer for when I don't have a tan or when, you know, my skin tone is a little bit lighter. So really quick, just so my makeup doesn't look crazy, I'm just gonna go into my Alamar Cosmetics bronzer trio thing here, just so that, again, the makeup looks somewhat normal. All right, guys, we are moving right along here, just a few more products to test out. So we're gonna do highlighter next. This is the Revlon Skin Lights Prismatic Highlighter. This is in the shade Daybreak Glimmer. Again, I've heard so many good things about this formula. And this one in particular is supposed to be a great drugstore dupe for Anastasia, the Anastasia Amrezy highlighter, which is one of my favorites. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dip my brush in and we're gonna see how this applies. It just looks like, oh, look at that. It just looks like it's gonna be lovely. Wow, yeah, super pretty. You can tell it's like finely pressed. It doesn't look chunky. Yeah, that's going on super smoothly. Really pretty. Yeah, guys, that is super pretty. Definitely like more wet looking on the skin. I mean, obviously it's a powder highlighter, so it's still powdery, but it's not like a chunky, glittery powder highlighter. It's really smooth and, like I said, almost wet looking. All right, so let's do blush before I go in with our first coat of setting spray. So this is just a little Wet n Wild blush that I picked up kind of like as an afterthought, like almost like I thought I had everything and then I was like, oh, let me just grab this blush. So this is the Color Eyeline blush in the shade Pearlescent Pink. It's kind of like a rosier, I wouldn't say it's cool toned. It looks like it leans a little peachy, but it's just kind of like a nice neutral pink, which a neutral pink or like a peachy blush tend to be my favorite like go-to blush shades. So I'm gonna get a little bit of this on my brush. Okay, so it's pretty. I mean, it's very light. It's almost like a barely there wash of color, but I don't hate it. Like, it's not super pigmented or in your face, but it's there. You know what I mean? And sometimes I feel like that's good. Sometimes I love a super pigmented blush and I want a lot of color on the cheeks, and other times like I just want a hint, you know? Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's building up to like the intensity that I want fairly easily. And again, it's not super dramatic, but sometimes you don't always want that. All right, so now it is time to juice everything up with some setting spray, my absolute favorite step in the routine. So I picked up this guy. Walmart had this mega size of the Milani Make It Last setting spray. I was clearly tempted by this big bottle. This was like $12 or something. So I was like, all right, let me get it. Let me try it. Let's just see how this goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and just spritz this all over and we'll see what the finish is like. Okay, so it's definitely a spritz, it's not a mist. So be warned. I wouldn't say it's super dewy, but with the finish of the foundation and the finish of this powder, I would say my face looks nice and natural, like a satin finish right now. Not super mattified, not super dewy, just kind of like that place right in the middle. And again, like I'm not mad about it. It looks nice and it feels nice on my skin. All right, moving on to lashes. These are the Kiss So Wispy number 9 lashes. So I honestly can't truly remember, like I can't come up with an honest answer of whether or not I've ever tried out this particular style before, but I don't think so, because I usually go for Kiss 11s. My sister and I love the Kiss 11s, and these are definitely different. They're a little bit like rounder, where the Kiss 11s are a little bit more like cat eye shaped, and these remind me of the Ardell Wispies. So I wanted to give these a try. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim these up and get these prepped off camera. All right, so while the lash glue is drying a little bit and getting it nice and tacky, I'm going to test out this CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara. I did get the waterproof formula because I work outside now. I got a waitressing job at like a beach bar type place down here, and I am mostly outside and sweating when I'm at work, so I don't really have a choice but to use waterproof. But again, this is a mascara that I've heard so many good things about but never tried for myself. So right off the bat, I don't feel like I'm getting a ton of like volume right away. It might be something that has to be built up, but it doesn't feel super clumpy. And I actually feel like it might be a mascara that I need to like use a few times and let it like dry out a little bit. Cause you know how sometimes when mascaras are super fresh, you almost don't get like the true feel of it until you use it like a second, third, fourth, fifth time. And then you're like, oh, okay, now I can see if I really like this mascara or not. But anyway, I wanted to give that one a try because I've heard so many good things about it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply my lashes now. Since these are really natural looking fake lashes, I am going to go back in with mascara now that we've laid them down and just make sure we're blending them in with the natural lashes. I love doing this. I love like a Your Lashes but better type of wispy lash. Sometimes, I mean, I love a good dramatic lash too, but for a look like this, like honestly for any look, lashes like this just help complete it and give it a little extra glam, a little extra something without overdoing it on days where you feel like you don't want like a super dramatic lash. I love these types of lashes for bridal looks. You can kind of get away with like loading these babies up with mascara and they still look pretty natural. It just kind of adds to everything. And just in case you guys were wondering who the world's worst inner corner lash applicator is, it's definitely me. It is absolutely 100% me. All right, you guys, let's finish this look off with lips and we will be good to go. So to finish us off here, I have two Milani lip products to try. So I have their Understatement lip liner. This is in the shade Sassy Cherry. And then I have their Ludicrous matte lip crayon, and this is in the shade V Cute. So this is kind of like a berry pinky type of lip we're going for today. Okay, maybe not. I don't know if this is gonna come up on camera. The color of the actual lip pencil packaging is a lot more red than the color of this outer packaging. So is this a situation where Milani has deceived us? Oh yeah, this looks red. Okay, yeah, that's a lot more red than I thought. It looks like it's gonna be like a bluer toned, like kind of pinkier red. We'll see. We'll see how we do. Because this looks like it's, yeah, this one is, so this is slightly more berry toned. This is slightly more red toned. I thought they would be like a pretty good match, but whatever. I think it's gonna be fine regardless. We're gonna go in with the lip liner first. I've heard good things about these lip liners. My only thing is that I prefer a sharpenable pencil lip liner. These twist up lip liners, like they come nice when you first get them, but then you can't really sharpen them. Even if they come with a built-in sharpener, I always feel like I end up breaking them because they're so thin and delicate. But regardless, I've heard good things about these Milani lip liners, so we're gonna see how we do. Okay, yeah, so this is definitely turning out to be a lot more of like a bright blue toned kind of classic red shade for the lip liner. So I still like it. It's beautiful. It was easy to apply. It's obviously very saturated, very pigmented in terms of color. That makes my teeth look really white, but I just was deceived by the packaging. I thought this was going to be more of like a bright berry pink as opposed to like a blue toned red. So good to know. Sometimes packaging can be deceiving like that. But the only thing is I think that it's going to be hard to tell what the true color of this is now because we're putting it over a redder lip liner. But we're going to try it anyway. So like I said, this is the Milani Ludicrous Matte Lip Crayon in the shade V Cute. So we're just going to go over top with that. Okay, yeah, so beautiful. It actually does, it looks a little bit more berry toned now. I feel like you can see a little bit more of the pink with that lip color on top. I really do like it. I was expecting more of a bright pink, but I feel like because we have that like deep red, underneath, the pink is not as bright, or it's not popping as much as I was expecting it to. But that being said, even though it's not what I was expecting, it still is very pretty. And I do think that this lip still looks really nice with this eye look. So I'm not upset. It's just not what I thought it was going to be. Like, it's like, I still like you. You're just not who I thought you were. That's how I feel about that lip liner right now. But it's fine. So with all of that being said, that is going to be it for today's video. Definitely let me know in the comments below. Do you guys love some of these products? Have you tried them out? What are your thoughts? If you have any other drugstore favorites that you'd like me to test out, definitely let me know in the comments below. I love watching this type of video, so I really want to create more of this type of video. I just think it's fun. I think it's fun to see a full face, and I think it's fun to try to find affordable hidden gems. I love to be bougie sometimes and splurge on makeup, but I feel like we're really at a time in the makeup world where you do not have to spend a lot of money on makeup in order to get a good finish. And I appreciate that. I love affordable makeup. I'm a drugstore girl at heart. So I would like to do a lot more videos like this. If you have made it this far in the video and you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so that you never miss a future upload from me. I would love to have you join me here. You can also follow me on Instagram. I am at devgregs over there as well. And with that, I will catch you in my next video. Mwah. Love you. Bye.